Aruba or Curacao? Which one's right for your vacation? Aruba and Curacao are both two stunning Dutch Caribbean islands, and they have a lot in common. They're both sunny, easy to visit, and packed with amazing beaches and sights to see. But even though they're similar, both islands have their own distinct vibe and a few key differences that might make one a better match for your trip. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know, from beaches and culture to costs and food, safety, and more, to help you choose between Aruba and Curacao. Let's jump into it. First, location. So both islands sit in the southern Caribbean, just off the coast of Venezuela, and they're part of the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And as both are located outside of the hurricane belt, it makes both islands excellent year-round vacation spots. Even during rainy season, storms are usually quick and light in both islands compared to the rest of the Caribbean. Which brings us to climate. Aruba and Curacao share very similar climates: sunny, warm, and fairly dry. Both islands are more desert-like than tropical, and they both get steady breezes year-round. Aruba is generally drier, and Curacao sees a bit more rain, which makes Curacao greener overall. Rainy season on both islands is October to December, but even then, they're some of the driest places in the Caribbean. So when it comes to the location and climate of both islands, they're both very similar, and we don't see much differentiation here. Now let's talk size. Aruba is the smaller and more compact of the two islands, while Curacao is almost double the size. But still, both islands are pretty easy to get around. In Aruba, everything feels close. Most beaches, restaurants, and hotels are just a short drive apart, mainly centered around the primary tourist areas of Palm Beach and Eagle Beach. And with a car, you can see a big portion of the island in just a couple of days. Though note, some attractions and beaches that we really enjoyed are a bit of a drive from the tourist areas. But it only takes about 45 minutes to maybe an hour to drive across to Aruba. Curacao, on the other hand, is a bit more spread out. The capital city of Willemstad is in the middle, but many of the best beaches are up the west coast, about 35 to 45 minutes away. And it takes about 90 minutes to drive Curacao end to end. This larger size, however, gives Curacao more distinct areas to explore, from colorful city neighborhoods to tourist hotspot areas, dramatic coastlines, and some more rugged natural areas. You'll spend a bit more time driving here, which may require an extra day or two to fully explore. And even though there is a size difference between Aruba and Curacao, it really wasn't significant enough for us to make that a deciding factor in our travels. Culture and language. Both islands are Dutch islands, and they're both part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The official language is Dutch on both islands, and the local language of Papiamento is also spoken. On both Aruba and Curacao, English and Spanish are both widely spoken, so we had no issues communicating fully in English on either of our trips. Aruba and Curacao tend to appeal to different kinds of tourists. Aruba is a very popular destination for North Americans. It's lively, built up, and extremely easy to navigate, with lots of high-rise beach resort hotels, beach bars, casinos, and restaurants. Curacao, on the other hand, sees more visitors from Europe, especially from the Netherlands. You'll find colorful neighborhoods in the capital city of Willemstad, lining its famed waterfront, plenty of smaller, colorful boutique hotels, and a more laid-back and authentic atmosphere. And this makes the island feel more local, more authentic, and distinctly more European. And overall, it's less commercial, especially when you go outside of the tourist or resort areas. So we think when it comes to the cultural experience of visiting Aruba or Curacao, Aruba is going to feel more familiar to North American visitors and be a popular choice for a beach holiday. And on the other hand, if you're looking for a little bit more of a local, authentic cultural experience, Curacao might fit the bill better. Now, the currency is different in Aruba and Curacao. Aruba uses the Aruban florin, with a rough exchange rate of about $1 to 1.77 florins. Though across the island, you'll likely to find businesses using a flat exchange rate of either 1 to 1.75 or 1 to 1.80. Curacao recently transitioned from the Netherlands Antillean guilder to the new Caribbean guilder in early 2025, and the exchange rate is very similar, with $1 to about 1.79 Caribbean guilders. Now, the US dollar is widely accepted across both islands, so you don't necessarily need to exchange any currency to visit either Aruba or Curacao. During our 2 trips, we paid exclusively in US dollars by both cash and credit card, and didn't run into any issues at all. Now, just keep in mind that on both countries, you may receive change in the local currency. Now, moving on to flight and flight costs. Now, flights can definitely vary based on what airport you're flying out of, but overall, we think the flights are pretty much in the same ballpark. Many major airlines like Delta, United, American, JetBlue, and Air Canada fly to both Aruba and Curacao. But Aruba generally offers more flight options, which can make it a bit more affordable to fly into. For our flight costs, we paid less than $400 round trip per person to Aruba, versus our Curacao flights were about $600 a person round trip. Interestingly enough, Aruba is one of the few Caribbean countries that have U.S. Customs and Border Patrol at their airport. So you'll actually complete this immigration process before leaving Aruba, whereas normally you would complete this on arrival in the United States. And if you're finding this video helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. We're a very small channel and appreciate every one of you who watch our videos, leave a comment, or subscribe. Now, when you arrive in Aruba or Curacao, let's talk about your transportation options. Taxis are reliable on both islands, but they can be expensive, especially if there's a lot of places you want to visit. They're cash only in Aruba, but the rates are fixed. Versus in Curacao, the taxis are unmetered, and drivers often expect a tip, so it's important to agree on a fare before getting in the cab. Both islands have public buses, which is a very inexpensive transportation option, but they're very limited, both in route and schedule. And there's no Uber or Lyft on either island. So a rental car is probably going to be your very best option. We rented our cars through Budget at the airport in both Aruba and Curacao. We booked entry-level cars in both destinations, and the price was about the same, roughly $50 a day. One thing to note about Curacao though, our rental company required a significant security deposit of $500, which had to be put on a credit card, not a debit card. And this wasn't well advertised during the online booking process. So keep that in mind as you're comparing your rental car options. Now, driving in both islands is very easy. You drive on the right side of the road, like in the US and Canada. And the roads are for most part very smooth, unless you're going off the beaten path. Just keep in mind that you'll frequently see roundabouts in Aruba. Just make sure to proceed with caution and always yield to the vehicles that are already in the roundabout. And in Curacao, you'll likely have to drive over the Queen Juliana Bridge, which can be a bit nerve-wracking the first time if you have a fear of heights. Now let's talk accommodations. While accommodations can vary wildly in terms of both style and price across both islands, I think you'll find some significant price differences here. Aruba is well known for its beach resorts. You'll find plenty of high-rise hotels along Palm Beach, and also mid-rise hotels and condo rentals around Eagle Beach. There's also plenty of villas and Airbnbs across the island. We split our stay in Aruba between 2 accommodations, a small loft-style Airbnb under $200 a night, and a night at the Renaissance Wind Creek Resort, home to its famous Renaissance private island, which cost us $800 a night in high season. As I was researching accommodations for this trip, I found that $800 seemed to be the going rate for many of the high-rise resorts and hotels. Curacao, on the other hand, is much more affordable, and the accommodations definitely more local. Colorful boutique hotels are everywhere, especially in the Petermai district. We stayed at 2 colorful boutique hotels, each for about $100 a night. There are beach resorts in Curacao, but it's not as resort heavy as in Aruba. And if you are an all-inclusive resort fan, they're pretty limited in both destinations. So when it comes to flight, transportation, and hotel costs, we think Curacao is the clear winner if you're on a budget. Now let's talk about the beaches on both islands. Both Aruba and Curacao have gorgeous beaches with bright blue water, but they definitely offer different experiences. Aruba's beaches are long, wide, and super easy to access. The water is calm, and they're perfect for relaxing, swimming, and walking along the shore. And the snorkeling here is good, but not as dramatic as in Curacao. Curaçao's beaches, on the other hand, are more cove-like, tucked between cliffs, and often rocky or shell-filled, which is why you definitely need water shoes here. Many beaches offer chair rentals, and some have a small entry fee. And the snorkeling at many Curacao beaches are incredible, with reefs right offshore, the opportunity to swim with sea turtles, and even a shipwreck to snorkel. And if you're looking to book an excursion, you can book a tour to Klein Curacao, a small uninhabited island to the southeast, known for its turquoise water, white sand beaches, and its abandoned lighthouse. So when it comes to beaches, if you want that classic stretch of soft white sand and blue water where you can take long beach strolls, choose Aruba. But if you're interested in smaller, more cove-like local beaches and amazing underwater life, then Curacao might be for you. All right, activities. Both islands offer plenty of opportunities to do sightseeing outside of the beaches. And Aruba is perfect if you want a relaxing beach vacation with a bit of sightseeing mixed in. You can explore landmarks like the California Lighthouse or Alto Vista Chapel, walk through the San Nicolas Art District, wander the Cassibury Rocks, or climb Mount Hooiberg. Or you can visit Arikok National Park by either a 4x4 vehicle or an ATV tour. Aruba is very vacation mode with lots of structured tours available. Now, Curacao is great for travelers who really want to get out and explore. You can beach hop up to 40 cove beaches, explore Williamstadt's colorful neighborhoods, explore street art in Otra Banda, and maybe even going cliff jumping at your own risk, of course. This island feels more DIY, where you're creating your adventure as you go. No matter which of these two islands you choose, we think there's plenty of activities for all types of vacationers on both destinations. All right, now let's talk about food and dining, because we ate very well on both islands. In Aruba, we went to a lot of the classic tourist favorite spots: brunch cafes, Dutch pancake houses, romantic beach dinners, and popular over-the-water restaurants. During busy season, reservations are highly recommended in Aruba, and many restaurants use OpenTable or online booking platforms through their website, which makes it pretty easy. The food scene in Curacao, on the other hand, felt more local and a bit more unique. We tried everything from a brunch on a working farm, cozy neighborhood cafes, to incredible cliffside lunches, and romantic sunset dinners with incredible views. So overall, dining felt a little less commercialized and a bit more authentic in Curacao. And when it comes to costs, our dining costs were pretty similar on either island. In Aruba, we averaged about $40 to $50 for a casual meal for two of us, and our splurge dinners were about $140. And in Curacao, most of our meals were about $50 to $80 for the two of us, and we did drop $200 on one big splurge dinner. Tipping is optional in both countries, but 10 to 15% is appreciated and recommended. You'll also notice that many restaurants on both islands may include a 10 to 15% service charge on your bill, and that is typically split amongst the staff. So when it comes to dining, we enjoyed the food on both islands, felt the costs were similar, but think if you're looking for more unique and local options, you might find that more so in Curacao. And total costs. So how did our Aruba and Curacao vacations compare cost-wise? We do have full breakdown videos of every dollar we spent at each island that I'll link below for you. But here are a few quick highlights. Our Aruba trip was 3 nights, split between a budget and a luxury stay. Our total costs for those 3 nights came in around $2,800 or $1,400 per person. And our biggest expenses were accommodations and food. Our Curacao trip, on the other hand, was 4 nights between 2 boutique hotels. And that cost us around $2,900 or just under $1,500 per person. So basically the same overall cost, but we got an extra night in Curacao for that. And I think Curacao ended up being more affordable for us due to the low cost of boutique hotels. And the last comparison category before I give our overall thoughts, and that's safety. Both Aruba and Curacao are considered very safe destinations, and we felt very comfortable exploring both islands completely on our own. Right now, the U.S. Department of State has both islands at a level 1 advisory, which means take normal precautions. And no matter where you travel, we always recommend the basics. Don't travel with valuables, always use your hotel safe, keep an eye on your belongings, and use a little extra caution at night. And we always recommend travel insurance in case of emergency. We personally use Safety Wing, and we'll put our affiliate link down below. So, which island should you choose for your vacation? Here's how we break it down. If you're looking for a classic beach vacation destination, go with Aruba. It's a very popular beach destination for a reason. Soft sand, long stretches of walkable and swimmable beach, and tons of beach hotels and resorts to choose from. Plus, the culture will feel very comfortable for Americans. If you want to plant yourself on a beautiful beach and relax, Aruba is the better choice. But if you're looking for something a little more underrated and off the beaten path, with amazing snorkeling, colorful neighborhoods, hidden beaches, and a more local, cultural feel, we think Curacao is probably your island. And if budget is a big factor, we'd lean more towards Curacao if you're willing to stay in a boutique hotel instead of a beach resort, because those accommodations are going to be significantly more affordable. And overall, we spent less money in Curacao than we did in Aruba. But honestly, you can't go wrong. Both islands are beautiful, sunny, perfect to visit year-round, and full of things to do and see. It really just depends on the type of trip you want. If you found this video helpful, we'd love it if you subscribed. Leave us a comment if you have any questions, and we'll link all of our Aruba and Curacao video playlists down below.